All right, welcome into another edition of Catching Up with Tommy Mac podcast here on the 1010XL podcast platform at 1010XL.com, on demand, of course, on their app as well. We are streaming live on Facebook on 1010XL's Facebook page, and at the same time streaming live on my personal page. Great to have you out there, and hope you're having a great week and a great Friday. Of course, I find this time very exciting. I do. I'm really excited about the direction this Jaguar team is in, because I said it earlier. I'm just going to be repetitive, but when you decide to keep the majority of your team together, and you're trying, and man, I hope they can get Taylor and Key done. Ingram's here for a year, so at least they got him for a year. Maybe they figure it out. Whatever. He's protected. He's a Jaguar, which is great. I want them to get Key and Taylor. I do. And I think they're really trying to get both of them under contract. I would say this, when a team does what the Jaguars are doing, and it's amazing they're doing it in year one. And what are they doing? There's no big overhaul. Think about that. New teams, new coaches, new staffs. You know what I mean? It takes 2-3 years to get the locker room that you want, based on players that you want, your players, your kind of players, waiting to get rid of them, waiting for the right time. Their contract runs out, whatever. You can't take the cap hit. You got to keep him. But he's not, and this is totally different. This is, hey, we're bringing as many back as we can. Because why? Why? Because they know they're close. They feel they're close. And that's unbelievable that after 1 year they feel like that. And now, look, I said this on radio. I'm bringing Calvin Ridley into the draft class, okay? You may not agree with that, but he's a new addition for us. And now it's like, because think about this, if you didn't have him. Now you're going to make a decision on Marvin Jones, who I like, but I don't think you can keep him with Ridley here. And now you don't have to be forced to take a wide receiver at 24 because you need another weapon. You need an X. You need a deep speed guy to add to the equation here for the Jacksonville passing game. So they're in a luxurious position, and they bring everybody back. Look, I trust in Doug. I do. I trust in Trent and Doug. But let's be honest here. Next year, schedule's a lot tougher. The target's on your back, right? It's the same team coming back, which is great. I want them all back, and I'm looking forward to seeing who they add. And again, I think they're in a nice position. They've put themselves in. The way they structured contracts last year, which allowed them to restructure this year. And they got an owner that's got a boatload of cash. It's like, yeah, let's go. Think about this. I was making a joke earlier. I'm like, think about this. So you're Trent and Doug, and you're talking. You're like, all right, we're going to restructure all these guys. Let's bring them all back. Okay, great. We got to go to the owner and ask him for like $70 million in cash. What do you think? Let's go. You know what I mean? Think about that. It might not have been 70. I might be, exaggerating a little bit. But you need that kind of cash. And you got to have an owner that's willing to do that. Think of Tampa. Tampa's 55 over the cap right now. They've done hardly anything. Now they're going to get rid of Braid, it sounds like. The tight end saves some money. Leonard Fournette's out. But they haven't restructured. They haven't, and maybe they can't. Maybe they don't have the cash like we have. Maybe they'd have to borrow it against the league or what have you. Or maybe the contracts just don't. Think about this, which makes it even more brilliant. They're able to restructure and do what they can do because why? It's in the second year of their deal. It's not year 4, year 3, or whatever. They played 1 year. I can bring all that cash up front, lower my cap, and man, here we go. We're rocking and rolling into the next thing. So, look, I trust them. I think they're doing the right things. I like what they're doing. I'm looking forward to seeing what they add. But tell me, you can't tell me the NFL isn't on alert because they're all going, wow, Doug and Trent must feel they got a pretty damn good team. They're keeping everybody together. To me, that's really a huge...
Why wouldn't they feel that way?
They should.
They 100% should, yeah.
Yeah, and that's the storyline. And I'm telling you, to go from where it was in 1 year, it's pretty incredible. It's pretty incredible.
When you consider where they were halfway through the season, too.
Right. Absolutely. Well, and again, I'll go back to Doug. I didn't that stretch. I hammered him pretty good. I didn't like the way they were playing. I didn't like the lack of physicality. I didn't like the way Trevor was playing. I didn't like whatever. Right. At the end of the day, They never really got blown out when they were losing. They were close games.
Except Detroit.
Yeah, except Detroit. And that was after they had the win and then got that. That pissed me off. You remember that. That really, to not show up for that game, threw me like, I was like, what? You got Elvis in front of you. You don't show up for Detroit.
But when Doug said this is a one-off.
No, right.
He was telling the truth.
He was. And obviously they're way smarter than me and you.
Because they didn't lose again until Kansas City.
And they had a chance with Kansas City. Coulda. No shouldas, but maybe. Anyway, look, I think it's pretty remarkable that they've done this. You know, again, the combine in full speed. It is it's challenging. These kids are so big and fast. You want them all. You're like, wow, I can make that kid into a player. Wow, look at that. But then you got to factor in a lot of things. And again, I say it. I'm going to say it again. I'll say it all the time. It's not the talent. It's the talent that matches the philosophy of the coach and the culture of the team. And when you get all that together, you got the measurables, you got the intangibles, you got the football player, you got the locker room guy, you got the right guy for your team. Boom. That's a humongous win. Humongous win. And that's what you want all across the board. And when they keep the guys they're keeping, I think they're saying that. All right, Jalen Carter does I was making a joke earlier. What guy gets arrested, flown private, down to jail, get booked? Oh, get him out in 15 minutes. Back, he's on a plane back to Indianapolis. I wonder if he knew this was happening and that's why he's not working out. I wonder if that factored into it at all, because that's a big distraction. If I only have to go interview, it's a little different than, man, I got to go run a 40, I got to do all this stuff, because that takes a lot out of you, obviously. Charged with 2 misdemeanors, reckless driving and racing. A couple of people died in the accident, so I don't know where this one's going to go. How far does it drop them? They're going to have to wait and see, what happens. And what if you draft him and it turns out, wait, we're changing it to whatever. Maybe we find out, he was there. He's now saying he was there. Before he's saying he saw it from afar. I don't know. Who knows? The kid was probably scared to death. I don't know. And I'll tell you this. I'm gonna tell on myself, and I haven't told my wife, and I hope she doesn't hear this because she's gonna be really pissed. But earlier this week, I'm driving down JTB, right, and this convertible Porsche. I'm doing the speed limit, 70, whatever. Passing me on the right, the guy driving, he kind of looks like, I was like, all right, I'll see what's up, man. Start racing the Porsche down JTB. Let's just say
what vehicle might you be in?
I had my Acura TLX, which is a fast car, man. This car, I love this car. It's a 2016, but I got to take it out of sport because I get trouble. But it kept up. Now I will say this about the Porsche: it glid across the lanes. That's what
it's like flying.
Like. Yeah. We got it up there. So I'm sorry. To all the police out, to everybody, because it's stupid to do that.
That was a good answer, car-wise, though.
Yep. What's that?
That was a good answer, car-wise, though. Yep. Like, you can't be like, I was racing a Porsche and I was in a Ford Escape.
No, right.
You know what I mean? You got to be in.
Well, you got to have some kind of horsepower. But at the end of the day, if you both are, you both got engines that can do 150 and we weren't anywhere near that, then it comes down to, are you willing to do it? And I'm not.
No,
anymore.
Hell no. No.
And even I'll be honest, got up to 110. Probably shouldn't have done that, and I'm not going to do it again because that was dumb. It was dumb, And the street, and that's what it was. It sounds like there was a street race and something went wrong and people got hurt. And we'll see what happens with Jalen Carter. He's a heck of a player, but again, I find the timing. I don't know. Timing happens whenever, But it just right at the combine. And the kid's got to leave and come back. I don't know. Did he piss somebody off? You know what I mean? Like, is there some dirty pool? I don't know. It just seems weird that, he's going to do that. But we'll see what happens to him. If he drops to 24, are you taking him?
Oh, my God, yeah.
Yeah, you got to.
In about a nanosecond.
Yeah. Especially if he's, the misdemeanor stays.
Can I get Roger Goodell some track shoes to sprint to the podium faster?
Yeah.
Read the pick.
Yeah, he's a beast. Like to see him at the the next level. I think his game will transfer.
Oh God,
I don't know. I don't know. You never know. You never know. I mean, they got to have game, right? I mean, if you went with, and I'm not comparing the two, but if you went just with Travon Walker's measurables, you would have thought he would have been a monster this year, right? You would have thought that. You would have thought, man, look what he did at Georgia. Granted, playing a new position, I get that, but what did he do at Georgia? He was a beast, total beast, dominating force in the SEC. He was dominating at times. You know what I mean? Now, I'm not comparing. I'm saying you just never know.
No, I get what you're saying.
Until you get him. He should be a beast.
Because that man among boys way about you that you had in college, you're not going to have in the league. It's man among man.
How about that? Oh, yeah. Well, I was saying that earlier. You're going against guys that are big. I didn't finish my story. So during college, right, you'd have one or two linemen out of the five that were good or really good. Some were outstanding. Right? Give you a heart. They were tough, very, very tough. I remember going to training camp with the Saints. Now I'm a rookie free agent. Full first day of pads. I'm on scout team. I'm going against the first team offensive lineman. Those guys came out of the huddle, and I was like, holy, you know what? These guys are massive. And then on the snap of the ball, they were up to my linebacker level so fast that I was like, and massive. And I couldn't find the running back.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, this is unbelievable. Like these guys. But you learn to adapt, right? Okay, you can figure that out if you're a ball player. Take different angles, take different shots, hit them before they hit you, that kind of thing, right? Don't want them, their shoulders square when you hit them because they're just going to overpower you, that type of thing. But that's what you're talking about. You're going against, I don't care how good the SEC, I don't care how good any college team is. It's not the same when you got five, take an offensive lineman, you got five of the best offensive linemen from their college team for the most part, or one of the best.
If you went across the SEC and you cherry-picked your favorite guys, and then you stacked them all into one team, that's the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
In college, you go against NFL talent, but it's spread across 11, right? It's spread across all of the teams,
right?
Right?
Yeah.
Like,
and that's what worries me about some of these teams. Like the ones that kick the crap out of it. It's hard to evaluate that. It is.
Especially because a lot of times they're not even playing in the second half of games.
Yeah, or they're just so much better. They're standing back there all day long. I remember when Tua, I was never sold on Tua, and I maybe I'm wrong here. We'll see what happens. But he was doing well before the injuries, doing really well. But I always felt like they were always wide open. All he did was,
in college.
Yeah. And it was kind of like, it wasn't like, and then you look at Burrow, and I remember watching Burrow, and he's making, very tough throws, getting hit, getting whacked, making tight, window throws. And to me, I was like, that guy's more pro ready than most guys coming out of college you've seen in a long time.
And with Tua, I remember, because obviously I watched a lot of SEC ball.
Yep.
Jerry Jeudy in particular was one of his favorite guys in college.
Yep.
The amount of times that Tua would just throw him a little slant.
Yeah, and take off. And
Jeudy would make four dudes miss and house it for 60.
Yep.
On the stats, that's a touchdown pass for Tua.
Right.
But it's like, I mean, you and me could have thrown a little
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
So
that's hard to decipher. Will that transfer?
Very hard.
Will that transfer over to the NFL? You hope it does. No doubt about that. All right, so here's a question for you. The Bears got the number one pick. Smart move, keeping Fields. I would too. Do you take Jalen Carter, number one overall, or would you, and I'm saying today, you don't get to wait it out to see what happens today, or is it just a little too risky? And you're going to get picks. You're going to get picks. Are you kidding me? Even if, who's at number two? The Texans get up to number one, right? Or the Colts get up to number. You're going to get picks, big picks, because it's quarterback. They're going after QB. You're going to get multiple first rounders. Probably you're going to get a second. You're going to get some really good picks out of it. So would you do that? Or take Jalen Carter, number
trade
one.
Trade down. Easy. Yeah. Not even really a contest.
It's too risky for the first pick. Because what if it doesn't stay as a misdemeanor? I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. What if it changes? It changed the charge, and then you're sitting there going, oh, I don't even got this kid. Or I don't have him for a little while. Or he's going to have to take time off because now he's suspended. You know what I mean? That's a lot. I would see. But they need D-line help. The Bears big time.
Massively.
And O-line help. They need up front.
The position Jalen Carter plays is like the Bears' biggest need.
Yeah.
Like it's like a huge need. But the problem is, with all of that factored in, I don't believe it's a little bit less than the Jaguars last year. Because last year, I mean, there was no chance anyone thought we would take a QB. Right. So trading down was not really in the cards.
Definitely not.
This year, I think it's relatively the same thing. I think Houston or Indy are the first two teams that would take a QB.
Right.
They're going to call your bluff, man. Like,
yep. Well, here's the problem, though. If you're Houston and you covet somebody and somebody leapfrogs you and they covet the same guy, now you're going to be ticked off that you didn't
true.
Make that trade.
That is true.
So you got it. Yeah, I don't know. It's a tough call.
If I'm the Bears, that's what I'm hoping for.
Right.
Big
absolutely.
Time.
And if you're Houston, the other side of that is what? Well, we like 3 quarterbacks. So go ahead. You make your pick. Do what you got to do.
Yeah, exactly.
We're going to sit here and we'll take Stroud or we'll take whoever, Richardson or Levis. I don't know if he'll go that high, but you know what I mean? So it's an interesting position this year. What a difference a year makes with the number 1 pick. You know what I mean?
Apparently, the Colts have met pretty extensively with Anthony Richardson.
I tell you, you know how I feel about him. I know how you feel, and I know how you Gator fans feel about him. You're kind of Now, physically, you're not. You're like, this kid's unbelievable.
He's the best athlete I've ever seen in a Gator uniform.
And so here's the thing I think, personally, and I think a lot of people think this. When I have a rookie QB that can run, guess what I'm telling him? Run. Don't try to sit there and make sick throws. Don't try to be this hero. You see an opening, I want you to go.
That's what Justin Fields did the second half of the year.
And Jalen Hurts was doing that too, right? I want you to take advantage. Josh Allen, even Mahomes, out of how he got away from everybody on that bad ankle is beyond me in the Super Bowl. But nonetheless, when you got to get out there. Now, I wouldn't put Mahomes in the same class as the way Allen runs or Hurts runs or Fields runs. You know what I mean? I wouldn't put him there. But it's
more of an elusivity run as opposed to
making it a play in his repertoire. He's running if he has to.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The other guys may run because it's an easier first down than sitting there going through progressions and trying to find the open guy. And that's the advantage. So does it matter how you score? As long as you score? You know what I'm saying? Like if I put up 30 points and 20 of them comes from runs, who cares?
I don't disagree on the final result part, but if I can score 30 points without my quarterback getting hit,
yeah, true.
I'll take that ahead of him running people over because that's my problem.
I'll tell you this: I don't want Bryce Young getting hit. He might get broken in 2. I don't mind Trevor getting hit. I don't mind Josh Allen getting hit. They're big boys, man. They're no little guys.
And that logic would tell you that you don't mind Anthony Richardson getting hit, but Anthony has been hurt a lot.
Yeah, you did say that. Yeah.
My biggest worry about him, because it's the one part that can't really be coached, is the fragility. Yeah. It's just, man, it's like...
If he starts seeing ghosts, that's a bad thing.
Well, it's not even seeing ghosts. Like,
you mean he's not afraid to get hit, but he'll get hit and then be limping or something like that?
Correct.
Yeah.
He does not shy away from contact.
Yeah.
But the problem is, every time
he gets up,
he's a little gimpy with the ankle or the knee or something.
He's a drama major.
He's not getting knocked out of games.
Yeah.
He stays in, but the amount of times that he would get in the first quarter, he'd have a run where he'd get 10 yards and then get up a little bit gimpy. And the rest of the game, he's not the same athlete.
Yeah.
That happened a lot.
Yeah.
And that's my biggest worry. If that's happening in college, you damn sure believe that's going to happen in the pros.
They're going to think they'll change that, and we'll see if they do. You know what I mean? I mean, look, you can go back, and obviously it's a different storyline, but look at Josh Allen at Wyoming. He did not wow you with his stats at all. His last year, he threw 16 touchdowns, 6 picks.
Yeah.
You're not like, holy cow, this guy's going to,
right.
You're like, wow, look at the measurables. Let's see if we can make it work. Be interesting with Rich. I get why I'd fawn over him too.
But
I need to know a little bit more about him. Like, again, that interview is really important. What's he made of? And you know what? They're coached up, how to answer. You got to decipher through all that. What's real, what's not real. I did see where Ryan Poles, I just saw this about the Bears. He's got a putt-putt and a dartboard in their meeting room, and they're playing darts and competing and seeing. He just wants to see what kind of competitors they are and stuff like that. I mean, I guess you got to try these things to figure it out. It's either that or these assessments, which I don't totally believe.
That's one of those things, where if they, in a couple of years, if they, figure it out and go win a Super Bowl or something, that was like the most genius move
Everybody
ever.
will do it.
And if they're not very good in a couple of years and he gets fired, it's like, this is the dumbest thing anyone's ever done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like,
you know what I would do now? I just thought, like, put him in a virtual reality thing and let's see him perform right in the hotel room. That'd be kind of cool. Okay, we got a new thing for you.
Right,
Just put this. What am I doing? You're going to read defenses, and we'll see if you can do it right now.
Right.
Because going up on the board, you got to go up on the board. I've done that plenty as a linebacker. Like, all right, what coverage are we in? Who do you have? How do you fit? Where's it? You got to show on the board. I got this guy here. This guy comes in. This guy goes out. I recount. I come back. You know what I mean? It's quarterback, same deal. So think about that. Get him into talk about a pressure situation.
Can you clarify something for me with the board? Because I've always been a little bit confused about this.
Okay.
Defensively, the board makes sense to me because, like...
You're talking about the ranking board, the draft board?
No. Okay. I'm talking about what you're just talking about.
Okay.
Like a player drawing the board to show off their football IQ.
No.
So what I'm confused about is defensively, I think the board makes sense because... There's some variations to it, and depending on how defensive coordinators want to do stuff, but cover 2 is cover 2.
Yep.
Cover 4 is cover 4. And, that a lot of principles stay the same.
Yeah. But you want to know they know what they're doing. So you may be like, all right, what's your run support in cover 2 and ball comes your way? I got the force. Okay, great.
So that stuff makes sense because a lot of that is relatively uniform across a lot of defenses.
Right.
On offense, like playbooks are entirely different.
Yeah.
So that's where I get kind of I know a lot of concepts stay the same.
Yeah.
But like what if Andy Reid runs this concept a certain way, but Doug runs it a little bit different or something like that?
Well, that'll come down to that team asking you to draw it up.
I've never understood how can a QB necessarily impress if a coach wants different things?
Well,
you know what I mean?
It's more general. I mean, they'll do some specific stuff, but they'll be like, all right, where are you going with the ball? Where's your hot read? Where do you think the blitz is coming from? What coverage are they in? Here's a formation against whatever coverage in defense, whatever defense. Where are you going with the ball?
So it's more principles over a literal
just knowing that
scheme.
they can read and know what they should. They should.
Yeah.
I think, though, I just came up. I mean, I put them in that. You see real coverage.
It'd be amazing.
See that? Oh, you didn't see that safety. Why didn't you look off the safety? You know what I'm saying?
Could you imagine?
Think about that.
That'd be crazy.
Let's get into it. I think we should develop something like that. Like that's really. I mean, for quarterbacks especially. Or even wideouts. Like, hey, when do you know you're cutting off your route? When do you know? There's a clock in your head, right? Your quarterback's under pressure. When are you breaking it off? How do you know he's throwing it to the back shoulder? How do you know? You gotta gas it up a little bit and get a little deeper. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean those types of things. We were talking about wide receivers earlier today. The best wide receivers are the ones that make you think they're going deep every single route, and then they break it off with no wasted motion.
Jimmy was great at
Jimmy,
that.
Phenomenal. They say Calvin Ridley's like that. I want to see that, but if he is, that means you don't have to gather when you cut, and you're full speed. And they're scared, what-less, because you're coming at them. You're like, oh, they're going deep. Get them to turn those hips and boom, break it off. Forget about it. It's phenomenal.
If you are always a threat to get deep, and again, just like you said, you can really sell every time that you're going deep. As a receiver, you're going to have a free 5 to 10 every play.
Nobody wants to get beat deep. It's the worst feeling in the world.
If I'm a corner, I'm letting you have that 6-yard catch the whole game.
Yeah.
The whole game.
You don't want to get beat, man. They call you toast.
But that's why Jimmy was so damn good at it, because Jimmy could go deep whenever the hell he wanted, and he'd make a play on your ass.
Jimmy could also be almost full speed in 2 steps. I mean, he was that good, and he was so strong getting hands off. Forget about
that Ravens defense that everybody's upset. Jimmy cooked them. Cooked.
God rest his soul, Saragu. I don't know how many NFL teams were intimidated by anybody. I mean, it's not like you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so afraid of them. You know what I mean? I don't care how good they are. Tough. I don't think. I never.
Number 82 wasn't scared of him.
Right.
3 touchdowns.
Scared of him. That's
3 touchdowns on their head.
Intimidated people. I'm like, no, you didn't. I don't think you did.
How much of that is just Ray Lewis just being Ray Lewis, where he's just a little dramatic?
Siragusa said it. Well, look, Ray Lewis wouldn't be Ray Lewis without Tony Siragusa and Sam Adams in 100%. Front of him. And that's not a knock on Ray. Every linebacker wished they had that beef in front of them. Be making 20 tackles a game.
Hey, if you guys could just clear out the entire offensive line, that'd be cool.
Just let me go hit the back. Okay?
Right,
I don't have
exactly.
to deal with anybody else. I don't even want to take on the fullback. Can someone else do that for me?
Right.
I just want to hit the running back. Cool? That'd be great. All right, that'll do it for me this time around. I hope you all have a happy Friday and a happy weekend and a safe weekend out there. We got some good weather around here, so hopefully it sticks around. I know you guys are getting blasted up north with that Arctic air. Don't come down here now. Do not. We got enough people here in Jacksonville. We do. I know our city leaders are scoffing at me right now for saying no more people, but that's what I'm saying. We love you. We hope you visit, but we got enough people in the state of Florida. What do you say, Graham? Especially here in Jacksonville. Enough people. A1A's getting too crowded, man. It's getting too crowded. Never used to be crowded down by Neptune, Atlantic Beach. Getting way too crowded. Going through Jack's Beach, it's taking too long.
Well, prepare yourself for next week.
Yeah.
With the players.
I'm staying away from that.
Although your neck of the woods is probably going to be a ghost town because everyone's going to be south.
I'm actually going to take that Friday off. I'm not going into the madness. Just not into it this year. I wish them all well, obviously. I'm watching it on TV, but nah. I could drink and party and do my mingling pretty much anywhere, every single night if I wanted to, which I don't. But, hey, you want to hear a quick funny story?
Absolutely.
Last night, we go to the J Fund wine tasting event, which was phenomenal. Great event. We never really got to eat, so my wife and I were driving home. Like, let's go get something to eat. We haven't been on date night. We always kids and whatnot.
Yeah.
So go have a little meal at Seasons 52, which we haven't been to.
Oh.
32, 52, 32. 52.
I think it's 52.
Yeah, we like it there.
At Town Center.
Yeah, Town Center.
Nice.
So, came down JTB.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, we see a friend of ours who's with another guy. And big guy ends up, they're both sales guys, and John, who's a really good friend of ours, and then this other guy who played ball at Wisconsin. We started talking, yada, yada, yada. Talked for like 10, 15 minutes, my wife and the four of us. And he played ball with Don Davey at Wisconsin, so he's something come, whatever. So they leave, our food comes, sit down, and we're eating. And the guy, not John, our friend, the other guy comes back, and he's like, man, I really hate to bother you guys. But he looks at me, he goes, do you have a brother named Mike? I'm like, yeah, I have an older brother named Mike. He goes, him and I used to party up in Chicago back when he was single.
I'm
like, what's your name again? He said, I go, I know you. You used to hang out with Scott Davis, so big off defensive lineman from Illinois that played for the Raiders. And this other guy, Larry's like, yeah, I was with that group. I was like, that's unbelievable. What a small world.
That's awesome.
Yeah, those guys, they were funny. They were funny. They were young, so I was probably 24. They were probably 26, and all they did was chase women. I mean, that's all they did. There would be like 8 of them going out like a pack of wolves, chasing who can pick up the hottest girl. What is this?
As a 25-year-old myself currently, I can attest that mid-20s is weird because you have some friends that are like married with kids.
Yeah, right.
And then you have other friends that are out on the prowl, like they're still 22.
Right.
So it's like,
yeah, it's
a weird, like I have a girlfend that I live with. I feel like that's a good middle.
Damn right. Good middle.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, totally.
Like we don't have like retirement figured out.
Right.
But like, we're also not going out every night. Like we kind of have that.
No.
Once or twice a weekend kind of thing.
When you find the right one, you don't have to go out every night. You go out with her. You be with her.
Yeah, we pretty much every time.
That for 23 years, baby.
Pretty much every time we go out, it's together.
Yeah.
Unless it's like an all guys thing.
Yeah.
Which happens from time to time, but usually we're together pretty much.
Yeah. So. I like shooting pool with the fellas. That's like one of my favorite things, pastimes, other than working out. Like, let's go shoot some pool.
Shooting pool, having a couple beers, talking shop.
Yeah, that's all. And then meet up with the ladies. And the good stuff gets going.
That's when. Why is pool is such a guy thing? I feel like I rarely see women play pool.
I tell you what, at Pete's, there's a couple good women players. Yeah, they're really good. They beat me up. I've been terrible lately. I've just been terrible. I don't know what my problem is, but
I'm not great, but I do love playing. I have a lot of fun.
My wife's got a little work thing, like 4 to 7, so I got a little window. I might.
That's your pool window.
Maybe we'll see.
Down at Pete's.
Well, that's really the only. Or I'll go to Monkey's. Monkey's got a couple pool tables.
Yeah, they do.
That's
That is
pretty
true.
Cool. I haven't played there yet, but I might have to try that out. All right, that's going to do it for me. Hope you have a great weekend. It was a long one today, but hope you enjoyed it. And have a great weekend. All right, till next time, stay safe and be cool out there. And we'll see you right here on Catching Up with Tommy Mack. Peace.